Boom. Hello and welcome. Season 6, episode 11 here. Western Expanse. Which I believe this means we're getting close to the end of a Bob Ross season. Being on episode 11. Pretty sure they're usually 12 or 13 episodes. I think it's usually like 12 episodes of a season, or like, you know, normal paintings, and then the last one I think is usually like a little Q&A thing or something. Something in that vein. Something I kind of like about this one's done by Bob, I'm very certain, because some of them, you know, aren't always done by Bob himself. But I think the thing I like about this one, I like the clouds. Like, they're very, like, they're not super, like, blended and soft. They got this, like, roughness to them that I feel like he doesn't normally do. I think that's kind of cool. Something I will probably not be able to really recreate in Mario Paint, but nonetheless, it's a cool little detail, in my opinion. Yeah, shout out to anybody who's at GDQ right now, chilling. Would be cool to be there, but I am not there. As you can see, I am not there. Unless if I brought my house to GDQ, then I could maybe be there. Maybe next year. Okay, well, actually, the kind of like whack thing is that SGDQ next year would be the 10-year anniversary of my first GDQ. I'm like, bro, what the hell? What the hell, man? How's it been that long since SGDQ 2016? Like, it doesn't even feel like that much time has passed, you know? It's like insane thinking about it. It's actually ridiculous. Well, the good news is, Vince, if you are coming by tomorrow, the plan is also to hit up the Indian buffet, so big vibes there also. It's like massive vibes going to the Indian buffet. Thanks, Skittle asked David. It's like, hey, you trying to go sometime this week? And I guess Tuesday is what we landed on. You want to try Mario Paint you never played? Well, I do have the power to load it up for you. It does have like an actual like mini game in it where it's like a actual thing. It's not super long, but it's something. I think the big thing that I love about Mario Paint is that it has like, it just has a lot of charm to it. Because my understanding back in like, you know, 90s, probably 80s too, like there were a few like paint video games out there, but I feel like a lot of them just, they didn't have any like charm to them. Like just like little things, like when you like all like the brushes make like different noises when you hit them. And like the music is iconic. Even like when you click through like the different palettes at the top here, it makes like a different noise. For like how like it just keeps getting higher and higher in pitch. Just like little things like that. I don't know, it's just cool. It's cool. Send tweet. Seems like a really refined Microsoft Paint. Dude, there's some people I see online who like do crazy things in Microsoft Paint. I don't know how they do it. I literally don't know how they do it. Just goes to show you that an artist is not necessarily limited by their tools. Well, Mario Paint kind of limits you. But there are definitely people out there who could probably make a lot more impressive things than I can in Mario Paint. But the important thing is I'm trying, doing my best. Yeah, like, I've never watched somebody like draw in Microsoft Paint, but it's like, I mean, hey, if that's what you vibe with, then hey, more power to you. I'm not gonna stop you. It's definitely uncommon to try and use that. You have to be like a special breed. Just, it just has to click with you naturally, I guess. Damn, this is kind of like going back, me, Skittle, and Justin last night, we watched Good Will Hunting. At least it was Justin and I's first time watching that film, and it was really cool. I liked it a lot. Shout out to Robin Williams. Always fun to see him. I haven't seen a Robin Williams film in a long time. But he was, as always, like really good in it. Like one of the things that I was saying about that film that I really liked is like it has like this level of like it just feels like sincere to it. Like it doesn't feel like all like Hollywood. I think Skittle's like, oh, like there's no like product placement or anything like that in it. I'm like, you know, that's a good point too. Like it's not like, which is, it makes sense. If there was like random product placement in that film, it just wouldn't fit. But it's like I feel like, oh, if you watch like a modern Spider-Man film, like the Tom Holland ones, like I'm sure like you probably see like random like Coca-Cola billboards, whatever. But it's like also like that's like literally in like New York City, so it's like okay, like that would make more sense. But it just felt very chill. Good Will Hunting, such a good movie. Yeah, it's not your fault. I was like, damn. Damn, that hit. How much do you know about art styles? Painting and visual go super deep. I don't know much, but I watched a video about the 100 greatest paintings of all time, and it went hard. Art styles. Art style is like such like a interesting topic, just because it's like, it's basically only limited to like what can your mind think of for how to like achieve something. And that's something like I've gone through, like just like, you know, just different ways of trying to create something. I feel like that's something that like a lot of like online artists you'll see talk about. It's just like, damn, like I don't know what to do for my art style. Like if you're someone who wants to have like a defined look, for example, like I think a pretty good example for like a defined art style is like Akira Toriyama, aka the Dragon Ball creator / artist and such. Because like he did illustrations for like Dragon Quest, for example, and it's like when you see those illustrations, it's like you can tell like, oh, this looks like Dragon Ball, and it's like, yep, it's literally by the same guy, literally drawn by the same dude. So like that, he really like figured out his like style. I think that's what makes Good Will Hunting so good and wholesome. It feels very sincere. Like, I think when I talk about like sincerity for movies, I don't know how much of it is just like a nostalgia bias, because like, you know, I love the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, the early 2000s Spider-Man films. I'm a big fan of them. You know, it's like I grew up with those movies. But it's like there's like such a different vibe with them compared to like the modern MCU Tom Holland ones, which I do like those films, but I think just because it's not like bigger than it needs to be. Like it's just a Spider-Man film. Whereas like I guess like all like the MCU films, like it was like, okay, they have to link to these like 17 other movies in some way. A little bit of an exaggeration with that statement, but like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, like they were just that. They were just allowed to be just a Spider-Man movie. It didn't have to be like, oh shit, like it's got these like other movies tied to it, and it like follows up with the plot line of like some other previous movie from a different MCU film. And I think one thing Skittle also brought up about like me saying like how Good Will Hunting felt very like sincere to it is how like in modern movies, you know, like everybody's got like phones now, whereas like, you know, that isn't a thing in the in like Good Will Hunting. Like no one's ever just like, oh yep, bringing up my cell phone. Which, you know, what year did Good Will Hunting release? Goodwill. When did that release? 1998. So it's like, I think cell phones like were starting to be a thing at that point. I think. I don't think they were super common, but they were definitely like existent at that time. I'm pretty certain. MCU movies needs to have a lot of interconnecting depth and Easter eggs, yada yada. Whereas Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, nothing else. Yeah, which is like cool, like in its own way for the MCU Spider-Man films and other MCU films, where it's like, oh shit, like I get that. Because I've seen this movie. But then sometimes it can also be like, oh, I haven't seen like this Captain America movie or whatever, and so it's like, why is this guy randomly here? And it's like, oh, well, you have to see this movie for that to make sense. And it's like, oh, okay. Like I don't think it's like necessarily a bad thing. It's just like a different feeling. It's like just a preference thing. Modern cell phone, yeah, it's like in like in like the first Spider-Man movie, it's like towards like the end-ish, like last like third or so, when Peter's in the hospital with Aunt May, and like he like goes to like one of the payphones, I think, to call MJ, I think, and then it's just like the Green Goblin or something, but it's just like, I don't know, something about seeing someone use a payphone. It's like, yeah, that's, you know, you don't see that anymore at all. That is absolutely something you do not see anymore. Well, for a reason. And like, it also just like, you know, it obviously makes sense for modern films to give the characters like smartphones and shit, because it's like, yeah, like that's just a thing that exists now and everybody has. And it's like, yeah, I get that. And so it's interesting how like in My Hero Academia, there's like this one scene in this one part of the story where like they make it a point to like break this one character's phone at one point to specifically be like, ah shit, I can't like contact anybody now because my phone got broken. Because, you know, I haven't seen like a whole ton of films compared to many people, but I'm sure there's probably many films where it's like, oh, why would this person not just like call somebody on their smartphone? Whatever. Like I'm sure that's probably a plot hole that exists in modern films, I would assume. I couldn't name a single example, but I'm sure that's like a thing. Payphones went hard. I forget if the booth is still there, but like in the plaza, where like that newer Indian place is with New Orleans pizza. Like there used to be a payphone there for so long, and I forget if it's still there. Like I think the booth might still be there, but I don't think the payphone itself is there still. I don't remember ever using a payphone, ever. They were just always something that just like existed in my general vicinity. The thing about Good Will Hunting, I'm surprised, like he's like a he's like a baddie for so much of the film. I was kind of surprised. I was like, damn. Like how long that lasted for, which is kind of interesting. You don't get like the payoff, I guess, until like pretty deep in. But when he like broke, oh my god, what the fuck is her name? The girl that he was with, like when he broke her heart, I was like, damn, I'm upset. I'm upset. We have a local cinema in Waterloo, and it's so good. We've seen a lot of indie films. They've been amazing. Oscar-nominated films are totally different than the ones that play in normal theaters. I could imagine. I haven't seen, like, I don't know if I've ever seen an indie film, but, like, I'm sure it's probably very similar to, like, indie video games, where there's, like, you know, so many indie video games that people, like, are very beloved. You know, like Hollow Knight is, like, a giant one for many people. It's like in some ways like these like films made by individuals instead of giant corporations. It's like they could have like more heart than them than these like giant corporations can. I don't know, like giant studio shitting out like the 18th Call of Duty game that plays the same as the last 16 do. And same with like the same like 30th FIFA soccer title. Just being pushed out because it'll make money. I mean, I've never played those games, so I don't know if they're actually decent, but I feel they just definitely have that stigma of being like, I feel like normie attraction, I guess, for video games. Like, my understanding about FIFA games is that it's basically the same game, just shoved out with, like, the new, like, whoever, like, the new, at the time, like, athletes are. And I'm sure, because it's EA, I'm sure it's probably filled with, like, as many microtransactions as possible, I'm sure. The good news is these clouds are actually looking pretty nice. I haven't talked about them a single time, but they are looking pretty good, I think. I've just been talking. I've been talking for like 20 minutes apparently about just like film and vibes. But sometimes it's nice to have that. Sometimes it's just good vibes to have that. Yeah, I've played like an hour of Call of Duty ever in my life. And it's something that never appealed to me. But like that's just my understanding, is that they're like pretty like samey. That there's like not much like change in them. It's just, yep. Like, I'm kind of surprised that like Call of Duty hasn't like just implemented some kind of like live service model like so many games are these days. Like, just like create like one Call of Duty that's like the Call of Duty, and then just keep like putting stuff into that one. But like, I know like it still has like the campaign. aspect to it. Which I don't even know if people like really care for that these days. You play Fortnite. We, like our friend group, we were playing a lot of it actually. But we haven't been playing much recently. I think a lot of people have been like burnt out on it. I think especially because it's like, it feels like a game, like, you know, where it's like they release like a season and then that lasts for like 4 months or so. And then they like do a new season. And it's like, we've kind of like noticed this trend where it's like, it feels like they just kind of do like the same things. Like they don't do much change. And like within the midst of a season, like there's not really much like that changes at all. So it just kind of feels like it's like, oh, we're doing the same thing that they did like 6 months ago or something. Or like, oh yep, we're using this concept again. Or oops, this thing's been in the game for like literally 3 years. Like, when are we gonna like, you know, switch it up and like actually feel like we're making some change and not just doing like basically the same thing over and over. But like, yeah, we like me and like some of our online friends, we like low-key played a fuck ton of that game over the past few years. And it's like when it's in a good state, I think it's pretty fun. But it's like, damn, if they just like don't add like frustrating things to the game sometimes. Like, yep, there'll be like this like, I don't know, just like some shitty thing in the game, and it's like, yep, you have to deal with this for like 4 months, and maybe the next season it'll go away, or it'll just be there again. Morning, Cloud. How are you today? Any good food on the menu today? I feel like Fortnite seems like one of those games that's really fun to play with friends, but not as fun to play alone. Yeah, you are very correct in that. I've played like a little bit of that game solo, and I'm like, this is just like, like I feel like playing solo, it's like it just encourages you to like camp and hide the whole game basically. If your goal is to like, you know, win. It just feels like, yep, like everyone just be camping. It also doesn't help like where they have like a serious like bot problem in that game where like they basically like shoehorn like a bunch of like bots into lobbies where it's like sometimes your lobby will be like half or sometimes more of just like literal like bots that like are not a challenge at all. And it's like, that's not very fun. Especially like once you know like how like bots behave, it's just like, oh, like you can like instantly spot one if you come across one. And it's like they're literally meant to like, it's literally meant to keep like player attention. So that way like, you know, like lower level players, it's like, oh, like give them more bots if they're losing a lot. So that way like they can get a win and it's like they want to keep playing because like, oh shit, I got a win. But it's like, I feel like that should only be a thing if you're like super, super low level to a point where it's like literally like you don't know what you're doing in the game basically. In my opinion, that's how it should work. Because with a game that has like so many players, I feel like there's like no reason like you can't like actually put them with like real people in a lobby. Like I feel like that's just like part of it might be like to speed up matchmaking. Because God forbid you have to wait like 3 minutes maybe to play a game. I should move on to not the clouds. I've been doing so much of the clouds. That's why cloud came in, because I'm doing like the clouds right now. I should let's move on. I've been doing this for like a long time. 25 minutes of just the clouds, apparently. Jesus. Okay, let's get these mountains going. These far off distant mountains. I don't know if you've played yet, Vince, but you could also play Absa, because she released in Rivals 2. I don't know. I don't know if you played it all at Gommel, or if you've played like Rivals 2 since then. Since she released like last Tuesday. We had Alana. Hey, how's it going? How are you? Mountain time, yeah. Pretty small mountains, pretty small Bob Ross mountains. Were you watching any of Gommel last night? Speaking of talking about Smash things, kind of. So you? I'm chilling. Yeah, yesterday was kind of just like a chill day for me. I basically spent the whole day just watching Melee and Rivals 2 at Gommel. That was basically my Saturday or Sunday. Which, there was a little bit of tea with Gommel where, because on like on Saturday they were supposed to stream, or it was, I know Friday they were supposed to stream Rivals 2 doubles, and it was like on the schedule to be streamed, and they just didn't stream any of it. And then I think like basically the entirety of pools for Rivals 2 also didn't get streamed, and there was just like no like they didn't say anything why. There was just nothing. So like some people like were saying like don't support future Gommels, blah 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 blah. I don't know if they're gonna say anything or not. I have no idea. Like no idea what went down with that. But it is super weird because I feel like that's like not a thing that happens. You saw Zane, yeah. Yeah, when I was watching that, I was like, I need to wait for the interview because they're gonna ask about like why he did a cartwheel. And then he was like, I don't know. And they asked him like, did you like practice it? And he was like, no. I'm like, damn, that's crazy. Like your heart told you to do a cartwheel and you like weren't like practicing it or anything. You just like, were like, yep, I'm gonna do a cartwheel. I'm like, damn, what if you like toppled over onto like, because it looked like he was pretty close to those like cameramen, so the photographers behind him. At least like in like the camera view, it didn't look like there was a whole ton of space. So I was like, geez. But then somebody posted, like I saw on like Blue Sky, somebody posted a tweet from Zane from 2020 where it was like practicing, I think, did I save that tweet somewhere? I'm pretty sure I posted it somewhere. Or in this channel, I think. Yeah, it just says playing Cody, practicing my cartwheel pop-offs, and the thumbnail is just, yeah, him doing a cartwheel. So it's like, damn. Yeah, he definitely could have ate shit or fell off the stage or something. Thankfully, he didn't get hurt. Yeah. I did not watch any of Ultimate Grand Finals. Did he end up winning? I don't know if you saw, but Spargo is he was also actually in winner's side of Grand Finals for Rivals 2. And literally, like he was playing against like one of like probably like the GOAT of Rivals of all time. And it was like was it game 4 or game 5? It was game 5, yeah. And literally, last stock, all Spargo had to do was roll up from ledge to like ledge hog. And then he did normal get up, and the other Cake Assault, the other player, got back to stage and then proceeded to reverse him and then proceeded to win set 2. So I was like, damn. Literally all he had to do was just roll and he would have won. And then he didn't. Spargo did win. Feels good, a Steve not winning. You always love to see that. Did you see the SDJ Hungry Box set in Melee? Well, I guess they did 2. They got the run back set. The first set was crazy. Like the ending was like insane. Funny to say that for a Puff Ditto of all things. But it was like, bruh, like no way. It's like, it's about the timeout. There's 10 seconds left. Hungrybox is gonna win, and then he gets hit and then loses. And I remember in that game 5, Hungrybox was like, he was up like a full stock, like towards the end. He was up, and then somehow he like he threw that. I was like, damn, that's insane. Yeah, literally like, yeah, in the first set, it's like game 5. There's like 10 seconds on the clock left, and Hungrybox is up by like, he's up by like 10% or something. And he starts going like, Hungrybox starts going underneath Battlefield. And like while he's like ledge is here, I think STJ is like up here or something. Hungrybox goes like down here, and like STJ gets like a forward air on him or something. And then Hungrybox is now like over here, and he's trying to like loop back around and hit him or something, and he just can't reach him. But it's like, bruh, like I'm pretty sure like literally if he didn't go under the stage, he would have been chilling. Like crazy that like a Puff Ditto is like, it's actually kind of tense watching it. It's honestly kind of tense. I've seen some Peach Dittos, and low-key, Peach Dittos are like high-key, I think, more boring in my opinion. But I was like prepared. I was like, damn, if Hungrybox wins this first set, there's gonna be an explosion of a pop-off. Like you need to like, you know, get into like a storm shelter. You need to hide. There's gonna be an eruption. And then it got denied, and I was like, damn, rip. Yo, Owl, it was a Roy v Sonic Grand Final. Spargo had a loser's run for a lot of that too. People still hate Sonic in Ultimate. Is that the consensus? People really hated Sonic for a while, but I don't know. Maybe Steve took over the hate train for that. Maybe people are like, nah, fuck this character more. Fuck this character more than we hate your character. Yeah, I watched like a little bit of Ultimate randomly. I guess just because I was just kind of like in the vibe mode yesterday, just watching stuff. I think I clicked on and I saw Leo I saw a game 4 Leo moment. I was like, all right, I'll watch a little bit of this, I guess. Why not? I don't really like Sonic. I feel like when I did see a bit of Sonic gameplay, it did still feel like half the time it was just like not interacting half the time was like the game plan. Steve and Sonic are both pretty hated, but if they're fighting each other, I think people root for Sonic because Steve is so hated. Yeah, like your average person definitely hates Steve more. That's for sure. I feel like I can guarantee if they do, well, they'll definitely do a Smash 6, whatever they'll call it. That'll definitely be a thing. But like, a lot of people are like assuming that they will probably not bring back all the characters that were in Ultimate, and it's like, I high-key do not expect Steve to return just because of how much like controversy this character has caused for the game. Like, I feel like I'd be very surprised if that character made a return. But I feel like no other character has caused like such a large controversy. So I think it's just like generally people saying like, oh, like this character just feels like he's playing a different game from everyone else. Which I feel like is, I feel like that's like partially like an Ultimate DLC moment. Also, how are you today, Owl, by the way? I remember I saw some like hero clip recently. I was like, God, I fucking hate this character. His design so much. I don't know, like, I'll always say like base Ultimate roster is like okay. It is like, there's definitely some like dumb stuff, but like it's like the DLC characters, it feels like they just get like cheesier and cheesier as they went on. Like, yes. I loved fighting Hero, and like you basically couldn't edgeguard him because of Zoom. It's like, yep, knock him off stage. And because it's something like if he's like off stage, like, or like the further off stage he is, it's like he's more likely to roll into Zoom, and it's like, okay. And then like the RNG, like just one hit. Like, love that. And then the critical hits, which I never understood people that defended critical hits, because it's like, oh, people are like, critical hits are literally in Dragon Quest, dude. It's like, okay. Meanwhile, okay, then how about give the Pokemon crits at that point, why don't you? I assume Fire Emblem has crits too. I assume Final Fantasy has crits, probably. Like, it's not like it's an exclusive Dragon Quest mechanic. So I never understood why, like, people, like, back when Hero released, people defended that shit for some reason. I'm like, I don't know what y'all are on. Y'all are whack. People are whack. We have one Steve player on the local scene, but he plays Yoshi against me half the time because Wii Fit / Steve is weirdly even, kind of annoying for Steve. That is wild, Wii Fit being even with Steve. Let me see that at like a Ultimate Major. Someone busting out Wii Fit against Steve and like 3-0ing them. People love cherry picking mechanics to suit their mains. Why does Cloud Limit wear off after time when it doesn't in his actual game? That is definitely because Cloud was fucking insane in Smash 4. Like, that is definitely a reason why they changed that for Ultimate. Like, because in Smash 4, he would get Limit, and he would be so fast. He would be so fast for, like, ever. So, like, if Cloud was, like, new, if he was a new character to Ultimate, his Limit would probably work the same as it did in Smash 4. But because of Smash 4 Cloud, they 100%, that's the reason why it works that way. Is reduced Nair hitbox too. That thing was gigantic in Smash 4. Cloud was just insane in Smash 4. I don't know if I'm just a hater, but whenever I see like Steve in Ultimate, even like he just feels like a character that shouldn't be in Smash. Like, is that valid to say that? Is that a valid take? he just feels like a character that just shouldn't be in Smash. I just can't help but feel like when he gets like knocked back, like when he gets hit, like the animation looks so dumb. And I don't know if it's just like a negative connotation sort of thing. Cause it's like oh, you know, Steve is blah 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 blah. It's like you know, y'all know like modern Paper Mario is, you know, very whatever compared to like the first 3 Paper Marios. But it's like one thing that the modern Paper Marios do is the modern Paper Mario games have like the white outline around all the characters. And it's like, do I actually dislike the white outline? Or is it because all the games that have it suck? And therefore it has the negative connotation of being associated with those games. I do think the T2ID remake did it a lot better because it's not just like a flat like white outline around the whole thing. It's kind of like these like white like little like slivers on like certain edges. I think it looks a lot better. Like it feels like a lot more like refined. But hopefully with the T2ID remake and the Mario RPG remake doing really well, hopefully this means that future Mario RPGs will be more akin to those. Enjoying your days off? Are you unsick now? I think if he was reworked, it'd be a cool addition to the cast, but being able to change the gameplay def ruins it competitively. And I'm pretty sure like Morpheus was telling me that like Steve, like the resources he mines is like partially dependent on like what stage he's on. So there's like stage RNG or well, like I don't know if it's RNG, but like there's like that thing to it. I don't know. He's just weird. Like I feel like there's definitely a point for the game where it's like, how many more characters do we really need? Because like I think from like a casual standpoint, yeah, like having a giant roster is like crazy. It's like, whoa, look at all these characters. But it's like, damn, like that also makes it like balancing hell at that point, having so many characters. Oh man, after this Mario Paint, I need to show y'all a video. After I'm done with this, we're watching a video because I love this video. It's so good. It's so real and accurate. What? Hey, Prax, slay, yeah. Are you just arising? I don't know. I always find it kind of funny that I lucked out with Ultimate and Smash 4, where I stopped playing those games before like the giant problem characters got added. Like I quit Smash 4 before Bayo got added, and I quit Ultimate before Steve got added. This was like, damn, I got really lucky I didn't have to deal with those characters. I got really lucky. I never had to deal with them. You've been awake for a while? Let's go. I know G was in here earlier and he was like, oh yeah, I've been waking up early actually. I'm like, damn, okay. Pop off. How's GDQ been so far, Prac? Also, I saw a picture like Kayla posted on Blue Sky and Julian's existing. I'm like, what? What do you mean Julian's existing? That's crazy. I was not gonna be ready to see him like in the photo. Oh, Jules, as Prac would say. So what have you been up to in recent times, Alana? I haven't seen you on Twitch in a while. Which valid. Sometimes, well, I definitely be like that sometimes, where I'm just like non-existent for a while on Twitch. But like high key, I'm still so shit at like talking in Twitch chats. I don't know. Just hard sometimes for whatever reason. Even though it shouldn't. I guess also like today, like there was like somebody who went live who like I would have talked in their chat probably, but it was like I didn't want to get into talking a bunch because I was about to go live, so it's like I don't want to like delay going live for, like anymore. Yeah. Also, ad break is apparently playing, or is about to play supposedly. Supposedly. My condolences. Also, you're not dying anymore. Worked yesterday, fine, all that. Let's go. Let's go, not dying, yo. Something that I've started doing recently-ish with my oatmeal, you know me, daily oatmeal gang. I have started to, not every day, but I've here and there been like, instead of just like making the oatmeal as I would normally, I like take all the oats that I'm gonna use for my bowl and I like put them in the frying pan and I like toast them for like a few minutes to kind of get them like, I don't know, like a little crispy a little bit. And I guess it also helps me like toss it like in all like the spices easily. Because when I make my oatmeal, my defaults are I add in like a teaspoon of cocoa powder, a little bit of protein powder, some salt and cinnamon. And so like tossing it in the frying pan makes it like pretty easy to like, I guess get it like mixed really well. I don't know, kind of, I think it does. It definitely makes it taste like a little bit better than if I just like microwave it raw. Which you know, I don't mind microwaving it raw, but I guess like having a little bit of a switch up is kind of nice. Just changing it a tad. I don't know. Do y'all do anything like that? Where's my oatmeal gang at? That's the real question. You have not switched up your savory oatmeal base at all? That's valid. I haven't tried it yet, but from the Korean chef, Aaron and Claire, one of the things I'm curious to try one day that is, I forget what the Korean name for it is, but just call it the Korean like pancake. That's like, I guess like a common like breakfast thing they'll make over there. I'm like, that could be fun to try someday. It's always chicken stock and soy sauce plus oyster sauce. Feels good. Ooh, actually, the other night when we made chana masala, which is like a chickpea curry with like a tomato-based sauce. When I made rice, I added in a teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder. Just like half the things that Aaron makes on his videos, he'll be like add like 1 teaspoon of chicken bouillon powder. But we were both like, damn, this made it way better. Holy shit. It was like crazy how much better it tasted with the chicken bouillon. Yo, Umbreeze. Oatmeal best breakfast? Hell yeah. Let's go. Yeah, I have oatmeal like basically every day for breakfast. The only times I pretty much don't have oatmeal for breakfast is if I'm like not home. But if I'm home, I basically always have it for breakfast. Just because the oats be good for you and it's like pretty easy to make. And they last a while too. Cinnamon with apple slices, maybe some nuts. Ooh yeah, apple slices is a good one actually. I haven't done that in a long time. Geez, Skittle got some apples recently, so maybe I can be like, hey, can I like steal like half an apple to use for my oatmeal? Plead. Yo, Zeta, how are you today? Yeah, I feel like oatmeal, like you can just add like so many things to it, and it just like, it's just good. It's amazing. Like, I love the peanut butter and oatmeal. That's a classic. Peanut butter and oatmeal makes such a big difference. Peanut butter, you know, salt, cinnamon, I mentioned. Yeah, like nuts are really good to have. Like a while back, we were doing like walnuts and oatmeal. That's a good one. Yeah, cocoa powder, that's a good one. Banana, you know, pretty much like any fruit is a good one. Banana, blueberries, strawberries, apples. Those are all fire. Ooh, I'll do sometimes like a little bit of like shaved coconut in it. That's a good one too. What else? Skittle got some maple syrup recently, and so I've been like adding like the tiniest bit of maple syrup sometimes just to get a little bit of like boom to it. All right, how about you? I'm doing good. I mentioned this earlier in the stream. Last night we watched Good Will Hunting. I've never seen that movie until last night, so that's like I guess like the newest thing for me. That was fun. Other than that, I was watching Gommel on the weekend. I didn't really do a whole lot else other than that. I guess I forgot I streamed Iron Mario on Saturday. I forgot that happened. I hope everyone's weekend was chill and good vibes. You watched a new Beetlejuice movie? I didn't know there was a new one. Was it good? I remember watching some Beetlejuice movie like as a kid, and I remember being very creeped out by it. It was very freaky for me. I was like, whoa, this movie's scary. Better than I thought it would be, TBH, but it lacks a lot of the charm the original had. This is unfortunate. So is it just like a remake of the original, not like a sequel or anything? Yo, this painting so far though, kind of turning out pretty nice actually. Any agreeers? Y'all agree with that? Also, no one's mentioned it at all today, but I slightly adjusted a mic setting before stream. I adjusted like a little bit of like the EQ, so I hope I didn't ruin how the mic sounds. But I think it still sounds fine. I don't know. I was like, I'm in that mood recently where it's like I'm not happy with how it sounds, so I've just been like tweaking with it like every like few streams. Is a sequel? Okay. Is the original one a Jim Carrey film? Question mark. I don't know if that has him in it or not. Oh, it's Michael Keaton. Is what Google is telling me. That's always like a rough thing though, when like a sequel to a movie, you know, like it uses like a different actor or something. If that is the case for this new Beetlejuice, but it's like when they use like a different actor, it's just like damn, like the vibes are already kind of weird when it's not the same actor as the original. Like I remember, I've never seen it, but it's like it was like one of the first MCU films. It was like the first like Hulk MCU film, and it's like I don't remember the actor, but it's like a different actor plays Hulk in that movie. I think it was like something like the actor like wanted like he was like he wanted way more money for his role or something like that, and then they just like switched him out for someone different. I think also like something about that guy was just weird also at the same time, if I remember correctly. Same with like in like the Iron Man films. I think the character's name is Rhodey. I think it was like in the first movie he was whoever actor, and then like all the movies following, it was like a different actor played that guy. And so it's just like, yep, like, you know, this is obviously a different character, but or a different like actor, but it's like the same character. I don't know. Always a weird one. I guess never an ideal scenario to do that. The original actors do make a comeback except for the dad, because the actor's dad was kind of problematic. Let's see. But also with like, I feel like pretty much like most sequels, it's pretty hard to like have it live up to the original. That's like a pretty tall order. That would be on par. You know, like I've said, I am no movie expert. I've never actually even seen these, but I know I think one common thing I hear about whenever I hear about like movie sequels being better or worse, whatever, I always hear that the Terminator sequel, Terminator 2. I always hear people say that one's like way better than the original, apparently. I've never seen either Terminator film though. Never something I grew up with. Never grew up with those movies. It's hard because while it's entertaining, it doesn't do much with the tools it has in its possession. Oh, like this Beetlejuice sequel? Question mark? I think it's compounded by the fact that the movie is only an hour and a half long, which isn't much time to weave a compelling story. I think if they gave it another hour, even half hour, it would have been better. Yeah, I feel that sometimes with movies where it's like, damn, I kind of wish this movie was like just like a little bit longer. Just like develop X thing more. It's like I was talking earlier in the stream about like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies, and it's like the Spider-Man 3, which, you know, has a bad reputation, which I will die on the boat that I think Spider-Man 3 is not as bad of a movie as people make it out to be. People make that movie out to be like the worst thing ever, and I do not think it's that bad personally. But a common valid complaint is that it's like there's just too many like characters, like there's too many villains and not enough time to develop all of them, and it's like I think that is a valid point. Which literally I know in that movie, the director Sam Raimi, he did not want to do Venom because apparently he wasn't too familiar with the character. But then like some Sony executive higher up, whoever filler character was like, you need to do Venom. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. And then it just probably ended up being a worse movie for it. Because I got shoehorned in. You don't care about spoilers? I guess if no one else cares about spoilers, it's probably a movie I'll never consider watching. So if no one else cares about spoilers for that movie. Which I guess if you care about spoilers, you can just not look at chat or close the stream for a few minutes. But yeah, I will definitely never consider watching that movie probably. And the way this like grassy like little hill looks in the foreground here, it's it's pretty interesting. Also, I don't know, there's all like the black tones. Something about it just looks cool. This is definitely a palette knife moment, 100%. 100% a palette knife moment. And I've I've really done like basically this entire painting with just like the normal like regular brush. I've used like a little bit of the airbrush, very little usage of it. I think like in the water I did most of the airbrushing. But other than that, it's basically just been the normal brush the whole time. Or like the two little trees in front of the mountains. Yeah, it really adds like a sense of depth to it. For me the clouds I think are that's the star for me. I think they turned out really nice, and they have a really like unique vibe to them. I was saying earlier how I think it's interesting that these clouds, they're very different from like what you would think of a typical Bob Ross cloud would look like. Because like your average Bob Ross cloud, it's all like fluffy and blended and very soft, but these ones, they have like a roughness to them. And also like, you know, that very clear curved arc to them, which is pretty cool and not something that you would like typically see. So I think that really adds like just a unique vibe to it, and I appreciate it. Alright, spoilers for new Beetlejuice. TLDR, Beetlejuice's ex-wife wants to suck his soul for dark magic immortality, except she's already dead, so I don't know how that works out. So I guess we would just bring her back to life or something, I don't know, or whatever. So Lydia's daughter is tricked by a murderer to swapping her life for his. Except not, because he goes to hell. Lydia's fighting with said daughter all the time because dad is dead and she can't see his ghost. And they find his ghost later, but there's like zero explanation as to why she couldn't see him. And then the ex-wife gets eaten by a sandworm after killing like 4 randos, basically as soon as she sees the real Beetlejuice. That's always tragic when, like you said, like there's just zero explanation as to why she couldn't see him. It's just like poor planning or something, or just like a giant oversight in the film. Question mark. Are other people feeling similar about it? Are people not too pleased with that movie? Question mark. Cause like, okay, like I always remember like for those who have seen all of Dragon Ball Z, and I guess spoiler warning, but like at the very end of like the Boo arc, when they're like, you know, trying to kill Boo, and it's like, oh god, Goku's out of out of power. He's got no juice left in the tank, and the way they get around that is with this like with like the Namekian Dragon Balls that they're using, that they use to bring everyone back to life. But it's like, oh god, the Spirit Bomb isn't enough. Kid Buu is strong enough to deflect the Spirit Bomb, and Goku can't push it back because he's too weak. He's too drained. And then the solution is to just use a wish to just restore Goku's like stamina, like just give him all his energy back. Give him like a full restore, if you may, in Pokemon terms. And I remember one of my friends, when we first watched that, like when it was his first time watching it, he was like, I hate that outcome. And it's like, it's not the most like epic thing or anything, but it's like an intelligent, like a logical in-universe usage of like something OP like the Dragon Balls. It's like, I mean, that's like a logical, because like there's just like sometimes in like stories where there's like a tool, whatever, and it's like, why don't they just do this to solve all their problems? And it's like, you know, that's like a, I don't know, I think that's like, okay, like that, like in universe, I think that makes sense. Sure. Like, I'm sure like they could have came up with something more like creative and crazy, but it's just like, I don't know, it makes sense in my opinion. Basically, they do all this build up with the ex-wife being the villain for only her to get stamped out in like 5 seconds upon confrontation with the main cast, and the secondary villain is a very tropey twist villain. Ah. That's like for those who have seen, for those who are familiar with Naruto, how it's like at the end of Naruto, how it's like, yep, the big final boss that's been talked about for basically the entire series gets thrown away for some random bitch that nobody likes because she causes a shit ton of problems with the story. They literally throw away that character. They quite literally throw him away. And my understanding as to why they even like include this other character in the story, just randomly thrown in with no prior like backstory or any build up to it or any foreshadowing whatsoever, is supposedly because the editors wanted the Naruto author Kishimoto to include that, so that way like they could make a sequel. I think like they edit, like his editor like wanted, like was pushing him to include something like that so they could do a sequel series, is my understanding. Oh, you're familiar with Naruto? Okay. Oh, and ads. Anybody here enjoying their ad break? Curious. Alright, well, supposedly the ad break is over, according to my chat box. But that thing, like, giga lies, so I can't really fully trust it usually. Yeah, I was being kind of vague with it because I don't know, I wasn't under the assumption that you were familiar with Naruto, so I wasn't being very descriptive with what I was saying. But yeah, I wouldn't mind the concept of Kaguya if they did some proper build up to her, like they should have started having her be the thought in the back of your mind around the end of the Pain Saga. I think I am pretty sure like she was not thought of at all until like pretty deep into the war arc. I'm pretty sure like my understanding is literally that she only exists as to set up for Boruto existing. That is my understanding as to why she exists at all. I don't know. The ending of, well, the war arc is just like a mess. That shit is just tragically a mess of storytelling. I don't know if it's true, but I've heard people say it's like, oh, literally Kishimoto didn't know how to kill Madara. Like, I'm sure he could have came up with something. But probably like the singular biggest sin for most people is how like the whole Black Zetsu retcon. How it's like, yep, I orchestrated every event that happened in the entirety of the world to lead up to this moment. It's like, that is so bullshit. That is like, that's like, yep, how to fuck up your entire story, pretty much. Like, it's just like, nah, like that is actual bullshit. That is not your intent at all, Kishimoto. That feels like some filler garbage, high key. That's not real. God, Boruto, how shit. I've never watched Boruto, but my understanding is that the anime was like it was like basically all filler for like a long ass time. Like it was just like the anime was just like doing nothing for a long time. And I know it also just like disrespects like all the like original characters from like the original series. I guess to try and like play up like the new characters. And like, you know, I haven't like, you know, obviously I haven't fully watched it or read it or anything, but I also, another complaint I hear is like every like villain in Boruto is like, yep, I can just absorb all abilities and jutsu and such. It's like, oh, okay, I'm glad like we're on like the 8th villain that can do this exact same thing. And like, isn't it also like basically all like these characters are just like all like the kids, like the next generation, they're just like shittier versions of the original characters, is my understanding. That they just are not compelling. This is a Western Expanse, you're right, G. How many shots have you had since you've been gone? They should have had Naruto and Sasuke do to Madara what they did to Kaguya. Or maybe they could use Pain's soul statue thingy. It definitely just needed more planning, because it was, you know, that's probably just an expense of like, you know, weekly manga. Like, God, like I cannot imagine like writing and drawing all that shit like week to week. Like, that must be such an insane task. You got crown just now? What kind? Like, Peach Crown pausers. Yeah, I think Boruto is definitely like a power scaling moment because it's like, you know, people like Naruto should just be stomping everybody for free in this. Like any villain should be like completely irrelevant to him. It's like this guy is literally like god levels right now. But then it's like, yep. Yep. Also, I don't know if I'm just a hater, but I cannot help but feel like the name Boruto, it just feels like a shit pose. Like, am I real for that? Does anybody agree with that? It just feels like a shit pose. Like it feels like a meme. Maybe it's one of those moments where it's like, oh, you know, like it just has that connotation, has that negative connotation. You had vodka last night, just plain old vodka. Oh, Jess and vodka. Name a better couple. Name a better couple, honestly. I'm waiting for a better couple to be named than Jess and vodka. And pink lemonade. Ooh. Ooh. Isaac ran out of charges? Oh no, he's out of charges. Oh god. Okay. I feel like this painting really, it like dragged on a lot longer than it should have. I guess I was definitely like sitting there talking for a while though with some things, which is good. I don't know, nice to have like the good conversations. But I don't know. I think this one turned out nice. I think I'm probably ready to end this painting here. I would say. I like how this one turned out. The clouds are hype and the mountains and off in the distance. I don't know. I think everything was turned out pretty well. So, thanks for watching. See ya in the next one.